Alright, listen. This video right here is important. What you are about to hear is not entertainment. It's not hype. It's a real conversation about Jamaica, culture, and respect. This is a contribution from Damion Crawford, Member of Parliament for St. Catherine North Western, speaking in the Jamaican Parliament. And instead of politics as usual, he is talking about reggae, music, Rastafarian identity, and how Jamaica treats its own cultural legends. Pay close attention to this, because what he is saying affects not just Jamaica, but the entire Caribbean and the African diaspora.
Member from St. Catherine Northwestern.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. I too just come out of PAAC. But I too want to join in celebrating the life and contribution of some of our entertainment stalwarts. In particular, I will start with Cat Core. One of my most unforgettable memories was traveling to France to Reggae Sunscare. Remember, Tony Hilton was also there in 2013. At that time, Mr. Speaker, it was our intention to attract European festivals to come to Jamaica in the summer under a concept called Jamrock Summer, 90 days, 90 ways for entertainment. And we wanted to position Jamaica as the mecca for entertainment and to use entertainment as a filler for our hotel rooms in the summer months going forward. At that festival, Third World was booked for that festival. And Cat Core played the cello and played Jamaica Land of Beauty. You would be surprised to see 36,000 French personnel singing Jamaica Land of Beauty, not to the words, but on the cello. But where my memory is frozen was after the performance. And some of the artists that we disregard in Jamaica, they were closing the show. Some of the people that we believe are 10 o'clock artists were show closers in France, 30,000. In Germany, in Belgium, Reggae Gil, Rotterdam Festival in Spain. Those are the ones closing. The show ended. The promoter said to the photographer, that time was the minister, junior minister of tourism, or as my good friend would say, minister of state in tourism. Yes. The minister said, the promoter said, take a picture with the minister and the band. I'm there, I'm posing. Nothing happens. The promoter says, take a picture with the minister and the band. Nothing happens. The promoter gets angry. She said, take a picture with the minister and the band. The photographer says, where's the minister? He assumed of the band. And he was so apologetic. But I was so pleased for having been confused to be a part of Third World. He thought I was a part. I will never forget that reality. And that is why I must stand today as a person with this image. I was reading recently the impact that Jesse Owens had on racism in the United States, having proven competence at the Olympics in 1936. The impact that these reggae artists that held this image like Minister Turlang, image like MP from Portland, image like myself, images like the minister currently, who was also an ambassador, image like Angela Brownberg, whose her locks not really farmers yet. In a farm, but she's coming. She's coming. But let us not forget, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I said from Portland. I did recognize. But let us not forget, and in your heart, but let us not forget that in our lifetime, these people couldn't get a job without trimming their locks. Let us not forget that in our lifetime, there was clear prejudice against this image in this country. And it is the effort of people like Cat Core to show competence and confidence that has caused for me to read in this year or last year that there's 4 persons with locks in the parliament. There was not a time that style. And you know, that is why I said persons with locks, Madam Speaker. Because they, and of course, and not only with locks, with a Rastafarian practice. But let us not forget that the national acceptance started with them proving competence, capacity, and confidence. I also, therefore, must celebrate the minister and her role in IRFM. In our pandemic time. But as a child, I remember it was said that a station for Jamaican music could not work. In Jamaica. It was said that IRFM could not last. And now it is the most dominant station in this country. Number 1. It shattered the perception that Jamaican was not good enough. And therefore the output of Jamaicans was acceptable. Our local prejudice was impacted by IRFM's belief in Jamaica, Jamaicans, and our output. It is to that extent that I'm saying to you that we should use these realities to ensure the continued contribution to our people and our society by what these people have created with their blood, sweat, and tears. I therefore am asking that we consider as a parliament to immediately encourage further music education in our schools at the primary level, at the secondary level, and of course, Heart Trust should be a repository of training, a center of training for misguided young persons or persons who did not take the academic route to see that reality, that we can make it as a country. I also want us to recognize that we should not be satisfied with the reduced influence of Jamaican music in the global space. That we must put policies and funding in place to regain the pride of place that the Jamaican music had in the global presence that these individuals would have indicated. I listened with pride.
Orator?
I listened with pride.
Orator?
Yes, madam.
You are doing beautifully.
I thank you.
However, in the interest of time,
I will be ending soon.
I am asking you to please wrap up.
I was looking forward to you
Thank
coming
you
back.
so much, Rast.
I knew that this would happen.
Minister Grange, short closure immediately thereafter.
Yes, I mean.
Thank you. Go ahead, member.
I thank you. I thank you, madam. But let me just close, and I'm happy to see member from, is it West Rural, St. Andrew. There was once the Olympics with 3 countries in the 200-meter final. 3 Jamaicans, 3 Americans, and 2 USSR. One of those persons was our member sitting right here, who was in that final. And why I quickly made that observation, is because we have seen the constant flow of athletic prowess coming from that time to now that we have the twins and Sharika, but have we seen an equal flow coming from the entertainment practitioners that were once so dominant to the current set, if they are equally dominating global conversation and global space? I pray that we ensure that through policy, direction, and motivation, that we create a pipe once again for persons like Cat Core, persons like Jimmy Cliff, who dominated the world and made sure Jamaica's name stood tall. Thank you, Mr. Madam.
Thank you, Member. Minister Gray.
Now listen. This contribution was deep and it deserves to be unpacked properly. Damion Crawford wasn't just celebrating reggae legends. He was exposing a mindset problem in Jamaica. A mindset that still struggles to fully value its own cultural power unless it gets stamped by foreign approval. When he talked about artists being shown closers in Europe, in France, Germany, Belgium, and Spain, that wasn't exaggeration. That's the global reality. Jamaican music is not niche. It's foundational to modern global sound. Hip-hop, Afrobeat, dance music, all of it carries reggae's DNA. Yet somehow, in Jamaica, they treat that same culture like it's fragile, outdated, or lucky to survive. That still a moment at the festival says everything. 36,000 French people emotionally connected to Jamaica's national song through reggae instrumentation. That's soft power at its highest level. That's national branding money can't buy. And then comes the most symbolic moment of the whole speech. When the promoter mistook him for a band member. That confusion happened because the reggae image is normalized and respected globally. In those spaces, culture ministers and musicians occupy the same lane, cultural authority. But back home, that same image was once criminalized, mocked, and blocked. And this is where Damion Crawford's speech quietly becomes political in the deepest sense. He reminds us that people with locks, Rastafarian people, were openly discriminated against in employment, education, and public life, and that wasn't ancient history. That was Jamaica in living memory. The acceptance we need today didn't come because Jamaica suddenly changed its hearts. It came because reggae artists outperformed prejudice. They proved competence, confidence, and excellence at a level that could not be ignored. That's why his reference to Jesse Owens matters. Just like Owens shattered racist myths in 1936, reggae artists shattered cultural prejudice, not through protest alone, but through undeniable achievement. The Area FM story is another mirror. Jamaicans were told a station dedicated to Jamaican music couldn't survive in Jamaica. Think about how backward that sounds. And yet today, Ire FM dominates. That tells you the problem was never the product. It was belief. And then Damion Crawford asked the question too many policymakers avoid. We have mastered the athletic pipeline. Jamaica produces world-class athletes generation after generation because there is structure, early training, national pride, and sustainable investment. So, why hasn't that seriousness been applied to music? Where are the music schools at the primary level? Where is the structured training for youth who are creative but not academic? Where is the national strategy to ensure Jamaican music maintains its place at the center of global culture? Because here is the truth. Culture doesn't sustain itself automatically. If Jamaica doesn't invest, others will reinterpret, repackage, and profit from Jamaican sound, while Jamaicans argue about who started what. Damion Crawford wasn't asking Parliament to clap for legends. He was asking them to build a future, and if that warning goes unheard, Jamaica risks becoming a footnote in a culture it created. So let me know what you think. Do you agree with Damion Crawford? Has Jamaica failed to protect its cultural pipeline, or are we still on track? If this message resonated with you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because these are the conversations we need to have, not just in Parliament, but among the people. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay aware, stay proud, and respect the culture.